Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jesse, your DM.
Cody playing Lazarus.
Brennan playing Dis.
Mike playing Nim.
Britt playing Kenna.
And we are Double Doubles and Dragons. We're a group of goofy Canadians that have gotten together to play a little D&D. Sometimes we will say things that are inoffensive. We mean them as jokes, of course, and they're certainly funny to us, but some people may find this offensive. If you do, we apologize, but we don't want any hate mail about it. So just don't listen, okay? Let's jump right into the action. Okie dokie. Welcome back, everybody. So we had a week off. Everybody to collect themselves, plan out how exactly you plan on murdering this very, very evil nobleman and his beautiful artwork room. But let's begin with a couple of things not related to him. First off, inspiration. Lazarus and Nim, I have you with inspirations. Dis and Kenna, you've both used your inspiration. What do you remember about last episode? Is there anything that either of you did that is particularly inspiring?
What did I use my inspiration on? I still have my mark. Unless you used it on a roll that didn't work or something.
You did, because I recommended you use it on one roll, and you were like, nope, it's
Yeah,
not
I
the
was
right
like, I'm gonna
time,
save
and then
this
like
till
10
later.
minutes later you used it.
And then failed it.
I think you rolled like a 2 and we got like a 3
Yeah.
for inspiration.
Yeah, it was
But
a
what
1
was
and then a
important
3.
is that the second time was the right time to use this.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what's important.
I don't really remember.
Dis decided to go back to Wallace's, even though it was a bad idea because it seemed like the party needed him to go back.
Kenna went back to Wallace's with Lazarus initially
Yeah, that's true.
and took the fall for your guys' shenanigans.
All right. I think that we'll call that. We'll call that successful as far as inspiration goes. So everybody has an inspiration today, which is fantastic. I wouldn't want anybody to believe they didn't have everything they needed to survive. That would be unfortunate. Because then you might blame me.
Well,
so, when we left off, if I remember correctly, because it's been a little while, even though we did just listen to it, Lazarus and Kenna, you guys are in Wallace's mansion, just hanging out. The plan, I believe, is that you're going to kind of sit tight for today, and Nim and Dis are going to arrive tomorrow morning, after kind of laying low. Now, I believe, Nim, you were laying low at the laundromat today, and Dis, I'm not sure if we decided where you were laying low.
Yeah, no, really. I think...
Where does a man like a drow elf go to lay low?
The shadows.
His best friend,
Why was I not just hanging out back at the shack still? Or back at Bull's place?
because someone's watching Mary.
That's right, we already had somebody doing that. Alright, I'll go hang out. I'll just guess we'll go to the market run.
Okay.
And I'll just head out to the areas I know are kind of far away from Wallace's general influence on the area like that, but places I've been through before that just have some restaurants, bars, and stuff like that. I'll just
Okay. Just
try out around that area.
try to lay low in a sea of people,
Yeah,
as
basically.
as it were. All right.
I'll look for like places with areas that have thieves can for this is a generally safe place.
Okay. So the day is generally uneventful in that case. It's even those of you that are staying at Wallace's mansion, it's pretty non-eventful. You do notice a couple of things that we've been talking about already. Just the place is a little bit higher security. Everybody seems a little more serious, down to business. Nobody's as talkative, that kind of stuff. Nim, you're hanging out at your laundry and just kind of laying low there, and that's working out fine, or seems to be. You do notice, rather interestingly, not long after making your deal to start doing some money laundering through, well, your laundry, and learning that Alex was kind of already in on this whole thing, you've noticed that even just this first day, traffic seems a little higher. you'd have like one guy come in every, say like 20 minutes to a half an hour, and it was a regular business flow. But now it's really more like there's 2 or 3 people waiting in line fairly frequently, and, just business has picked up a little nicely. No indication yet as to how much of that is you guys and how much of that is the money laundering going on, but you get a cut of that anyway, so,
Yep.
All
Nice.
good. As for you, Dis, you're hanging out in kind of the not quite seedier areas, but just trying to stay a little under the radar. And honestly, it's a thing you're very familiar with doing, especially having been a messenger before. Blending into a crowd is not hard, so you just kind of slip away into the crowd. Now, I will say, in order to kind of keep the people that you're talking to in terms of like the servers and the innkeeper and that kind of stuff, you do end up spending 5 gold just to kind of tip a little well and just make sure that nobody's gonna feel any particular reason to mention a drow elf staying in the room at the end of the hallway with only one door and stuff like that. But overall, things are fairly uneventful for the day. Heading into the long rest, the plan, I believe, was to basically come first thing in the morning. So this long rest will be fairly important. So is there anything people are changing, adapting, anything you want to discuss? I know you're all separated, but anything you want to kind of catch back up on as a group of players about what the plan was for attacking Wallace?
We had a plan.
We didn't have a plan.
Well, see, I like to give you the benefit of the doubt that a plan existed. I mean, I've been making a plan, so I don't see why you would make a plan.
Oh, yes.
I thought our general intention before was that we were trying to get back into the good graces to finish out the week.
Yeah.
So we weren't really planning on attacking him. We're just trying to bullshit our way back into his service.
Correct.
That's true. There was some back and forth on that, because I know killing him came up a couple of times, but there's also kind of the trying to appease the raspily voiced individual who
I think
wanted
we were
you
trying
to
to
keep track of him.
Yeah, I think we were just trying
get in his good graces. I don't remember trying to
or
kill him.
attempt to get in his good graces. See if it was possible.
I think Jesse just wants us to kill him.
I think he does too.
No, you really did mention it.
No.
I don't remember us
Well,
mentioning
we
it.
were-
I remember somebody being like, we just have to kill the guy.
Out of character.
It was in jest. We aren't. We're peaceful people.
I did change some spells out.
Well, then by all means, go ahead.
I'll just tell you what I have because I don't remember what I took off. So, I have my usual curing things.
Descriptive.
Cure wounds, healing word, lesser resto. Ice knife, moonbeam, fine traps, dark vision, doesn't matter for you guys. Pass without trace, heat metal, conjure animals, dispel magic, protection from energy, and blight.
Okay. All right. Anything anybody else wants to talk about during the long rest?
Hold on.
Because I don't know. I think it was like we were gearing up, like, if we had to kill him.
Yeah.
I think that was more the discussion, was like, if we have to kill him, we better all be there.
Yeah.
But let's try to not have to kill him, I believe was the general intention.
For like,
So we need a Dis safe word, because Dis is going to be the one in the most danger here.
Didn't we set one up?
We did, but I used it. So I don't know if we need a new one now.
Yeah, do you
wasn't
need
it
a
Pumpernickel?
new save?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was Pumpernickel.
Yeah, it was Pumpernickel. Do you like...
I did switch out some.
Pumpernickel!
I did switch out some spells.
Okay, go ahead, Cody.
So the things I have on now, specifically for this, just in case, are Hunter's Mark, and I'm putting back on Command in exchange for Detect Magic.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, sorry, return to the talk of your BDSM safe words.
So instead of pumpernickel, what are we using this time?
Sauerkraut.
Pineapple.
Sauerkraut. Pineapple.
Do you like sauerkraut? I mean, I do. It's delicious.
So when we hear that, we run in an attack? Is that...
Yeah, then it's fucking go time. It means the arena of combat has started. And then you back up.
Alright, so if this ship does
You're
go
being
down...
a real sauerkraut today.
I was waiting for him to try to be like in voice, what is sauerkraut?
Alright, so like if shit does go down and we are fighting, like, are we taking positions? Where do you want Lazarus? Where do we want this? Where do we want Nim? Do you want Lazarus outside the door holding back guards?
These are all
You'll have to-
fantastic questions.
Yes.
Our general impression is that we're not going to start combat at
Yes.
this point. So
Yes,
Maybe we
I do
even-
remember that being the deal.
But just-
Maybe we even strategically, like, are in the room, though. Like, I mean, generally you and Lazarus are out in front.
you guys could, 'cause you
With-
could just bring me in and just be like, all right, he's here. And then you
Step
just watch
back.
me talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, we could just walk in there as four.
But it's
easily.
both of them. He wants to talk to both of them.
No, he wants the drow for now, for the most part.
Because my dad.
But do we bring him in with us then? Because I don't
Well,
think we want...
I think Dis wants name in there with
Yeah.
him for
And he's
credibility.
my other explanation of what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
You see, we got attacked.
We were in the
There was
street.
this darkness.
We got attacked.
We were trying to
there was drow everywhere.
Okay, so
Maybe
are we
don't mention that part.
strategically, like, if we're in the room, do we strategically, like, do you want to stand in line with this, with Nim a little further back and me a little further back from that?
We could just say
Do you
that,
want Lazarus outside entirely, manning the door so guards can't come in? Or
Well, Lazarus should stand by the door on the inside, and then you block the door. with
Wait,
something.
important question to the DM. Do the doors swing in or out?
This is very important, actually.
Inward.
towards the room?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
easier for him to block it from the inside then.
Yeah.
What are the handles like? Is it like a knob or is it like a handle?
They're big doors, like big double
Yeah.
doors, so they have more like just the big handles that you
Perfect.
push in or
Shove
push
a freaking
out.
sword in it.
Yep.
I'll put my bat in there.
We just walk in, put it there.
And he's just like, excuse
You know
me.
what? Thunk. Me and you need to have a little chat.
He's like,
Now, don't forget, he does have 3 huge windows with double French doors behind him.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's right.
I mean, not like he's going to be locked in there with you.
No, but he can't really move.
No, but we might want
No, well, you've never seen him move anyway.
It's true, he just gets carried.
That's right.
Wouldn't mind.
You should just be like,
rolling
yeah,
out of
hold
one
on,
of
I'll
those
carry
windows.
you, and we just use some magic to lift him and just out the window, and then,
I
oh,
don't
we
have-
dropped him.
I don't have magic to lift him.
Pretty much every magic lifting spell I've ever seen is limited to like 5 pounds unless it's full on fly.
We would need like
He's made of pure evil.
Or levitate.
30 people.
Tensor's floating disc
To
could
get him to-
maybe
All in
lift
one
him.
float.
With
A
magic
couple floating
hands.
discs, maybe one or each cheek.
2 floating discs.
I mean, I can fly.
Tensor's was 800 pounds. If this man is more than 800 pounds, like,
He's got to be pushing
Potential.
5, right?
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Ugh.
We'll just put it this way. You know he's laying on one of those really fancy Greek-style lounge chairs, but you don't see the chair.
Just the legs.
Just the little stubbly legs.
Just think of that
thanks for that
Tuttle.
image.
That Tuttle in American Dad when
Yes.
they go to when he's all
I
dead and
don't-
he can't move.
I don't know if he's as big as Tuttle is in that episode, because Tuttle was pretty big in that
He
episode.
took up like the entire bedroom.
But nevertheless,
Okay.
you're in the ballpark.
So, doors swing in, which can work in our favor. So, someone stand by the doors. I mean, you're going to be at the front. There's no
Yeah.
getting around that.
No. I have a question then. So, Lazarus and Kenna, Lazarus, you've been in his house now for, what is that, 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
2 days and 2 nights. And Kenna, you've been in there for now 1 day and 1 night.
Mhm.
What are you guys eating?
Good berries?
Sauerkraut.
Nobody told me anything about good
I
berries.
don't have good berries on.
What are we eating?
Mhm.
That's
Is there nothing?
Don't get me wrong.
You're making me
Food-
extremely concerned all of a
Food
sudden.
is freely offered to everybody in service, guards and otherwise. So food is readily available. I'm just curious if you guys have been using it or not.
Probably.
If not, I have to know if you guys have been going out and getting food from inns, in which case you have to pay for it.
I
Stuff
have
like that.
rations in my bag.
You're sitting inside a mansion with a full table of food, and you ate your rations out of your backpack.
I trust no one.
A better question is, when you were there for several weeks, what were you eating?
The food.
Okay.
We would have been eating the food for sure.
But these last 2 days,
I don't know. Has Lazarus been eating much at all? It's probably.
the usual amount.
You're
I
a
would
big ass
say.
dragon.
Well, no, I
You
mean,
got-
just
you
the
eat a lot of
Brennan
energy.
ship.
Well, don't worry. The food's not held in that room.
No, but more like Lazarus probably isn't even hungry.
I mean, With the number of corpses in this mansion, there's probably a lot of flies.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know
a
if
lot
I
for
would...
Lazarus to snack on.
I also...
I'm gonna have been doing that to
and
all
he's
this
snacking on that, whereas, like, Kenna's like, that's disgusting. So she eats her rations. Or
If you like.
she would probably actually go out and buy food, because I'm sure...
I like how Jesse can just
I don't
ask
know.
one question about
Frickin'
food.
it sends
and
us
then
into a spiral.
we're like, are we eating people?
The best part is there's nothing wrong with the food. You're just asking what you eat.
Yeah,
That's
there
what
could be something
something
in the
said
food.
too.
Well, because, like, what's our stance? Have we just been standing at this stupid door? What have we been doing?
Lazarus has been outside the door. I don't know.
You've
where
been
he-
outside the door.
That's a good question. What's Kenna been doing?
It's a good question.
There's no more girls to heal.
There's no more girls to heal.
I mean, there are still guards and that sort of stuff.
I mean, Kenna's a very perceptive person, so I'm sure she's, like, just kind of taking note of where people are, when, and such.
Okay, sounds good.
Checking out the ins and the outs of the house.
Mourning over Kit a little bit still, I assume.
Yeah. Freaking no one... Has anyone replied to my have you seen posters?
Not so far.
Bitches.
Not so far.
Kit's the ringleader at the center of this.
Oh my gosh.
It's Tanner.
Don't even.
It's Tanner
Don't even
polymorph.
conspiracy my vote.
The Kit conspiracy.
Are the guards eating the food?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's part of the perk of working there.
Who's making the food now that all the servants are essentially on the wall?
Only the servants that were viewed as being in some way fishy appear to have been killed. With his appetite, the cooks were never in any real danger.
Oh, so I kind of made friends with the cooks.
Yes, you did. Which is why I'm a little upset you're not eating their food.
No, so here's the
They
thing.
are.
Because I thought they were gone.
No.
I thought the guards were, like, now making the food or something like that, which doesn't sound as appeasing.
No, not
So
at all.
she would also probably be spending time in the kitchen helping out still, just pretending like nothing ever happened.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. For the two of you that are in the house overnight, roll a perception roll. Just of the general activities you've seen. We'll see if you've picked up on any oddities.
23.
Okay.
27.
Okay. So, morning cracks. You wake up, and you're talking amongst yourselves about some things that you've seen, and you know that Dis and Nim are supposed to be showing up in the next hour or two. It won't be long. And just a couple of things. Lazarus, you've noticed that there's some oddities going on with the guard rotations and stuff like that you've noticed. Everybody seems to be on really high alert for some reason. I mean, maybe not super strange, because he did just have assassins break into his house not that long ago. But nevertheless, I mean, his security was high before. These days, security is very high. Even interior doors are guarded 24/7 now. Like, there is a very healthy presence.
Mm.
The other thing that you notice is, while the guards themselves have been seeming a lot more serious and less talkative, they've definitely continued that trend. Where they just seem very focused, very just down to business. You know, maybe money went up, it's hard to say.
Do I get anything else weird? Like, I suppose, like, while I'm through the house, I'll ping out a couple times during a couple days.
So yeah, you're walking around the house, and there's definitely, the more you ping out, the more you're getting this kind of slow feedback that something isn't right. You're getting that, not like a super strong scent of evil, but there's a pervasive stink through the house. Definitely something's up. Well, I mean, what he did was pretty evil. I mean,
Yeah.
it could easily just be that wafting through the house. It's the one downside of the paladin ping is sometimes people are just evil dicks. And, you know, that's just all there is to it. As for Kenna, you've been kind of helping out with the cooking and stuff like that, or you would be helping out with the cooking. But at this point, Wallace appears to have become so paranoid that he's going to be killed or somebody's after him, that all presence in the kitchen has been barred, except for the cooks themselves and the people coming in and out to move the food around. Anybody he doesn't trust isn't allowed in the kitchen, and you're definitely not on his trust list. You're known associates of some people he definitely wants to talk to, so they straight up are not allowed to have you in the kitchen. The cooks themselves seem apologetic. I mean, they were very familiar with you, but they just can't have it.
Have you noticed anything else as I was walking around watching the rest of the house?
Outside of the stuff that Lazarus has already noticed, the heightened security and stuff, not really.
Okay.
It's just definitely the whole place seems on edge. You have noticed a couple of people seem, what's the word? Not exhausted, like they're not that far along, but just everybody seems to be pulling double shifts.
So overworked?
Yeah, a little bit overworked, maybe a little overstressed, that kind of stuff. So just the whole place seems just a bit touchy.
So this is the morning of, so should I roll my portent then?
Yes, please. And then we'll figure out where Nim and Dis meet
Almost
up,
just like,
and you guys can talk about how you're approaching the building. Excuse me.
That's not bad. It's like a guaranteed hit. It's an 18.
That's pretty solid.
Now a 2.
At least it's not average. I always say that.
Be a solid 11.
Oh, and a 13. So
I was so close.
I mean,
Slightly
fairly
above
average.
I was within 2.
Okay.
All right, so Nim and Dis. Nim, obviously, you spent the night at the laundromat, and Dis, you kind of stayed out a little bit more in a general, just sort of everywhere sort of environment. So, how are you guys meeting up, and how are you kind of approaching the house? Like, what's your approach looking like? I assume you meet up beforehand.
Yeah,
somewhere.
we contact each other, I assume, through the rings, and then just meet, like, maybe an hour outside of Wallace's, something like that.
Yeah.
Wherever Dis assumes, like, the most secure location is outside of it, that we're probably not going to get spotted based on, like, the night's travels.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So you pick a spot, you set out the whole, I'll meet you at this building in 20 minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
Basically.
So you guys obviously meet up. And I'll give you a moment, I guess, to kind of discuss how what the plan is, really.
Alright. So we're gonna go in there, and our excuse is gonna be, we were attacked.
Well, I mean, that is what we showed it.
We're gonna be like, we got there, we went to check the place out, and then we went inside, we met what was his name? It's probably one of the things we should remember.
Master Discomfort.
Master Discomfort, we met Master Discomfort, and then there was an attack, and we tried to save Master Discomfort, but we couldn't. And then what we did was instead of going back to Wallace, we tried to find the attackers.
We chased them down for days and days.
That's right, and we're going to come back with info, and that they're set up in, I don't know, I gotta make up a place for this, the sewers.
This building right here.
This one.
A random building.
See, we haven't figured out where they came from yet, because they finally gave us the slip. But it was in a general area, I guess. Maybe, I don't know what area to say.
What I'd say is an area I found, or I've seen so far, that had a lot of activity, like thieving activity, like... Or suspicious activity, not necessarily thieving, but like people didn't really know what was... Not necessarily people didn't know what was going on, but like the shady spot, like the seedy spot in the market.
There's a couple in the marketplace that are a little bit shadier.
Yeah, kind of like seedy ones that aren't related to Wallace's shady.
That would be tough to guess. You don't know his full reach, so it's hard to say if a shady area is within his reach or not.
I guess maybe that we just haven't found him yet, and we were...
Well, say they were, like, magical and they were using invisibility spells, so we tracked their footprints as well as we could, but then they were using, like, pass without trace at a certain point, so we...
I'll just be like, there was some magic at foot, and I couldn't see them, but I don't know much about magic. And then you could fill in any details if you asked any more.
Sure.
I like it. It's gonna buy this.
It's a real missed opportunity not to say there was magic afoot, and then I couldn't see their foot.
Son, don't worry, this is foolproof. We got this.
This is foolproof. One of these days, I'm gonna get a shirt printed that just says this is foolproof.
And then if it goes bad and he's like, I don't believe you guys, despite your 100% foolproof story, then I'm gonna go, but have you tried the sauerkraut? And we're gonna attack.
But if you tried the sauerkraut, that's a smooth lead-in.
I mean, we've already set it up so all of us are going to be in the room anyways, so I don't even know if it's necessary.
But I just want to do it.
You don't trust them to understand if things are going bad. They're like, no, I mean, he threw a chair at him and he told the guards to kill him, but nobody mentioned anything about sauerkraut yet, so I think this is fine.
Yeah, this is fine. Just let him do what he's doing.
He's got this. Let's see where he's going with this. He clearly has a plan.
Totally good.
He's just like screaming for help.
Goes days. I'm like a fucking executioner. I'm like, sauerkraut.
No, I forgot the same word.
Pineapple wasn't
You're just like, God!
You're like, wow, he's super committed to this. I wonder what he's going to say.
He's gotta get a way out of this. It's crazy.
He must be lining him up for like getting charged for attempted
Holy crap,
murder
they
or something.
decapitated him. That must be magic or something. Who knew he knew how to do that?
Do you think he might be a blacksmith?
Wrong guy.
We've come full circle.
Okay, so with that in mind, what's your guys' approach to the building looking like? I mean, you're trying to pitch that you haven't done nothing wrong, so I guess you just stride up normally?
Yeah, I would think we're just trying to be super casual.
Super.
So yeah.
Super casual.
We'll have to post a video one day of what super casual is like.
I mean, we don't have to make a video. We can just link to the existing one.
Super casual.
I'm gonna just I'm just gonna Photoshop that GIF to just put a picture of like the faces we got from Jesse's aunt.
God. Super casual. Okay, so yeah,
McMahon
you're
with Nim's
approaching
face.
the gate super casually. Now, as you approach the gate, there are 4 guards at the gate.
Do I recognize any of them?
No.
Do I remember the name of the guard who would have been, like the centralized source of information for them before, like the guy we normally talk to when coming back?
Do a history check.
But Captain, I guess?
You captain, oh captain.
All right. That would be a 20.
Okay. You remember that his name was Smith.
Smith.
Now, you may think that's an unimaginative name, but I randomed it, so that's what his name is.
Do I remember his position?
I don't know if he ever would have really said it. It really wasn't... They're guards, not a proper military, so... But yeah.
I'll super casually continue to walk up with him, and then as soon as we get up to the guards, like,
So where's Smith? Just want to let him know we're back.
One of the guards takes a step forward, kind of gives you an appraisal, you and Nim, and just kind of... we heard the boss was expecting you. You can probably just go right in. Just drop your rings at the gate like usual and hop on inside.
Of course.
head over to the shack with the rings.
Yeah. Pop them in there.
Pop open the... Because it's inside, right?
Yeah, there's always the one guy there registering everything. And okay, so while the two of them are having their rings removed and, all that good stuff, we'll take a brief moment to swap back to Lazarus and Kenna. Have you guys been spending most of the time together, or have you been kind of wandering around all by your lonesomes? How are you doing that? It's also pretty early in the morning, although not quite breakfast time. It's more like 10, so...
It's almost brunch.
Probably at the door.
Okay, you're watching
He's
Wallace's
at the
door.
I would be going in between, standing at the door and looking around, probably.
Especially if we're expecting them sometime in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Kenna, you are up on the second floor.
Okay.
Kind of keeping an eye on things. You're trying to keep like a casual eye out to the windows to keep an eye on the front gate. And it's through this that you see Nim and Dis approach and come inside and, kind of start the check-in process.
You're impressed by the casual guy.
Yeah, are you impressed with how super casual they look?
How
Oh, no, they
super
didn't look
casual
for it.
do they actually look?
We'll have to find out. I'm going to need We don't have a casual roll.
Dexterity.
So I'm going to go... No, it's definitely performance.
Yeah,
They're trying to
it's gotta be
project
performance.
a casualness. So performance would be appropriate, I think.
I'm up to
This is when he would lose
Inspiration.
inspiration.
Just the ward. We're trying to be super casual. They're just walking in.
Nice.
Do I have a... Wait, is this performance?
Yeah.
Do I have a base performance?
I
feel-
actually no. No, I
It's
don't
so
think
weird. That means, like, somebody who's, like, super proficient at stage performances can still fuck up.
Yeah,
It's more just what you're projecting. Either people
Horribly
aren't
fuck up.
buying, or something about you, like you're just not hiding it very well, or even just something as simple as like you were trying to be super casual, but you tripped and you ended up looking ridiculous. You know, stuff like
I'm a
that.
7, my 18 years of experience down the drain.
15.
Okay, so Nim's like pretty casual. Like he's approaching super casual. Dis, on the other hand, and I don't want to, give people the mistake that Dis is afraid. No. Dis has this, like, he's trying to be super casual, but his face is like, you tried to kill Mary, and I'm coming for you. So, like, his arms are super casual, but his face is all business.
He's just got the fur background.
Yeah, exactly. He's, like, super casual, but then his brow is just like,
I didn't notice all the people everywhere. I'm just like, oh shit.
like, man, this guy must be in trouble. Look how mad he looks. But yeah, so that's what you experience out the window, Kenna. So it's a mixed bag of how super casual they're being.
I would watch them come into the house, but then go tell Lazarus that.
They haven't made it inside yet. They're just getting checked in with the rings. And at that moment, one of the younger helpers that's still around runs up to you and kind of tugs on your sleeve a little bit.
Yeah.
And just when you look over at him, he's just kind of, Miss Kenna, you have healing magic, right?
Yeah.
My dad and, like, 3 of his friends haven't been feeling very good this morning, and they're kind of like, I don't know, man, it looks really bad. Could you, like, come take a look at them? They're like screaming
I
and
think I did eat
stuff.
that shit. Do it. I'd be like, alright, just hold on a second, I just need to tell Lazarus where I'm going.
Alright.
And then, where's your dad and your friends?
They're in their bunk down in the basement.
In the dungeon.
Yeah.
From my expertise and knowledge, how long does it take to get checked in and get to, like...
It used to be pretty fast. He's a little more cautious now. So there's the whole taking off the rings. He's even instituted like a pat down. He isn't taking anybody's weapons, but he does seem to inventory what they have. The guards. It's at least like 20 minutes.
Okay, cool. So I'll go tell Lazarus quietly that they've arrived, but I need to go check on something, and I'll be back as soon as possible, and I'll be in the dungeons.
Okay. So Lazarus, obviously, she says all that to you.
I tell him what I'm doing, too.
Yeah.
So.
Meanwhile, the young boy is just kind of like standing there nervously, like,
Yeah.
he's really worried.
I'll warn Kenna of any ploys at the timing.
Okay.
I mean, you can just tell her that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we're skipping over it.
No, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, he's like, okay, can we go now?
Yeah, we can go.
Okay, and he runs down into the basement, and sure enough, down near the end of one of the hallways down there, there's those cells that have been kind of broken up and turned into like military-style barracks bunk rooms. There's a room with 4 men, 1 in each bunk, so it's 2 bunk beds, 1 on each side. And yeah, they genuinely seem to be in quite a bit of pain. Several of them are grabbing their heads, some of them are grabbing like their stomach, one guy's grabbing his leg, and they're just screaming like pure agony.
Can I do a medicine check?
Yeah, you can, just out of curiosity, so you've got bottom left, top right, bottom right. Which one do you want
Are
to
the
check
cell
out?
doors, like, off to a side, or are they, like, right in the middle?
They've taken the doors off.
Yeah.
So it's just an opening now that just leaves.
Yeah, but, like, is it off to a...
More or less the middle.
More or less the middle. Go to the left, 'cause that's where my intuition went.
Okay, left,
Bottom left.
bottom, I assume, because it's easier.
easiest to get.
Okay. So yeah, give them a medicine check.
15.
Okay. So you walk up, and this guy, he's still in his, like, bedclothes, not quite pajamas, but, something similar. And as you kind of approach, I guess, like, how are you trying to, what's your bedside manner like?
Oh, it would be very much like, hi, my name is Kenna. I heard you were in pain. I'm a healer. I'm just here to check you out and see if there's anything I can do for you.
Okay. Roll a dexterity save.
Oh boy.
13.
Okay. So as you kind of approach and you're trying to do this very nice introduction, the man just sits up and grabs you around like the right around the neck, but on the clothes. And he's just, get it the hell out of me!
Get what out of you?
As you ask that, he kind of just, he just doesn't have any more energy and he just kind of collapses back onto the bed. But you notice underneath that clothing, there are huge, like, blood spots, like these big blood welts in his clothing. At least 3 on his chest and looks like maybe 1 or 2 around his legs.
Alright, so then being super cautious in case, like, something, like, bursts, I do the medicine check.
Okay. And you rolled the 15, so you're not really sure what's wrong, and, initially you kind of start delicately trying to, and it's tough because he's thrashing around like crazy. But he's got, the best way you can describe it is kind of like a necrosis-style wound. Like, the flesh is turned kind of black and it's, like, ripping open, so there's just these huge sores all over his body.
And from what I see, does it look like it's an internal coming outwards? Or does it look like it was something that was externally working inwards?
It's hard to say. It really just looks like the skin is kind of like being, what would you call, like, rotted away. It doesn't really seem to be necessarily in or out. It's just very much kind of like a giant bed sore or really, something along those lines.
Then just lie.
Then just lie.
You're healed. just
What, you don't feel better?
You're already dead.
It might be lupus.
Looks like you're gonna have to use some spell slots.
Well, seeing that, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a cure wounds or a healing word that's going to do anything. Obviously, it's something that would be afflicting the person from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try to lesser resto him.
Okay.
Ice knife operate.
Did you say ice knife operation? Oh, that'd be some deft spell use right there. Don't worry, I'm just gonna ice knife into your chest to see what's going on here.
Don't worry, I'll numb the pain as I go.
That's right. Okay.
So I lesser resto.
So, what's the roll I'm looking for? I need... just a luck roll will be fine.
So you get hit by the chest burster as it comes out.
Alien!
8.
Okay.
Chest burster's gonna.
So, the luck roll was for order of events. So, you put out your hands, and you say whatever you want to say for lesser restoration.
I don't know. Go away.
Just very go away. Alright, you put your hands out, and you begin channeling the magic to try to resolve this man's condition. And the order of events for the luck roll is, as you begin channeling the spell, you hear the small boy behind you in the doorway crumple to the ground. As he begins to cry out, "Oh, it hurts!" And then you channel the spell into the guy. And I need you to roll for combat.
Initiative.
I'm
Okay.
super
Initiative,
fun.
please.
You can't take a floor roll.
I know.
No matter how good it is.
It wasn't. Well,
There we go.
yeah, I guess that could be good.
Oh, wait, I said there was no door.
You did indeed.
But it was nice to know that that's the door.
It's just so easy to draw a door. Okay. I should keep that. Where's your figurine? We'll figure out where you're standing. Please stand by while the battle map is prepared.
Alright, where's Orange Kenna? That's Orange Nim.
Cheeto covered.
I need
John's
these
gonna-
smaller
Orange.
guys.
I would be...
So
to the left.
you were right here, right? If this is the bed, as it were.
There's gonna be zombification going on here.
Zombification. How droll. Okay. So, while I put these guys here, Kenna, as you channel your cast into the guy, he screams like he's being ripped apart. Like, it's just a horrible, blood-curdling scream. And as your Lesser Restoration channels into him, you watch as these necrotic-looking wounds explode into huge wealth, like their growth just explodes as they spread across his entire body, stripping all of the skin that you can see off of him and replacing it with a redder pigment and leather looking skin as the guy swells and begins to bulge outwards into about double his beginning size. As all of his clothes rip away, and he's replaced with kind of this, how to describe it, kind of like, think if a person died in a river, and they just started to swell up. He looks like this guy right here.
Ah, lovely.
Ooh.
And as he kind of finishes this transformation, you watch his legs thicken out, and his arms and toes, the shoes that he was wearing, just kind of pop out, and these big claws hook out from his hands and his feet. And as all of that happens, you begin to hear the other 3 men in the room scream as well. And that's why we had you roll initiative. So the man on the bed begins to get up and just immediately takes a swipe at you.
Cool.
So give me a second to prepare up their HP numbers, and then we'll get to it. In the meantime, if anybody wants to give her any advice, I'll allow it.
Panic.
GTFO.
What, now I'm allowed to speak?
Only now. Only now because I deem it convenient.
Call Lazarus? That's the only thing she can...
Can't call Lazarus.
You don't know if she doesn't have rings?
Figure it out.
Get the fuck out.
Yell.
Yeah. I mean, yell is a good one.
You can always, because there's a guy blocking the door, just shove the guy at the door.
He's not blocking the door. It was a kid.
Oh, right.
It's a kid that collapsed and became a thing.
But is he at
If he
the
goes
door?
undead,
He is
you
at
can
the
just
You haven't
hunt
looked that
his head
direction
off
yet.
and then keep running.
I could shapeshift
Maybe
into
kick it around
something
like a
that
soccer ball.
flies and just like fly away.
Just piece the fuck out.
Actually, there are things that you can shapeshift into that fly that have the flyby.
What did you roll for initiative?
23.
Okay.
That have the flyby what?
Okay. So, you cleared them in terms of initiative, but just due to the guy's sudden attack, he'll get 1 attack off as a surprise.
Okay.
And then you can, and then obviously like, the rest of them wouldn't, so you'll get your turn. So, let me just make sure I have the right thing for this. Oh, and sure enough, I didn't. Sorry, just coming back after a short break, and I went and wrote down all the wrong numbers.
this better or worse for me?
Oh, shit.
That's a tough question.
The flyby what, Mike?
I think Giant Eagle might have it.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Well, yeah, Thunderwave.
Flyby is essentially
I could
if
get
you
out of
attack
here.
something.
Or just call everyone, too.
That's true. That
then
would
it
alert
can't
people to
opportunity
danger
you.
for
No, it
sure.
doesn't have flyby.
Okay,
you
so
can just
as I
disengage.
mentioned,
Yeah.
as the guy kind of finishes his transformation, he takes that one surprise attack at you. So I will roll those. So just give me a moment. One of them is going to be a claw, and then something else will happen, but we'll do the claw first, because it's just easier to resolve first. So that is a 15,
Doesn't hit.
yeah, which is a miss. And then I need a Constitution save from you, please.
Oh,
Thing
is this-
I'm Connie.
He's one of the guys with the local
Don't you
spell.
have, oh no, that's only if you're holding
I'm
concentration.
not holding it right now.
For which?
My con save.
Well, I mean, you might need inspiration in
Later.
moments.
She might
14.
14?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So, he reaches up and he swings at you with those new claws, and you immediately, like, you were kind of, I mean, not only, like, a little iffy about what was going on, but also gross. So you were a little bit back, and as well you should have been, because that allowed you to kind of lean back out of the way, and that claw attack just whiffs by you. As he finishes that claw attack, this size that he's inflated to during this transformation, there's suddenly kind of like a, oh, and then he just collapses in on himself back down to his normal shape. And through all of those sores, this black, putrid substance just ejects into the room. It instantly drowns out all of your sense of sight. You are in complete darkness in the room. And worse than that, the choking effect of the gas itself, it's a lot like, think of it as being like so smelly, it's almost like pepper spray. Like it's assaulting your senses. And you find yourself for a brief moment paralyzed as it just assaults your body and you are incapable of moving.
Well. Alrighty.
So as a refresher, if you are paralyzed, the paralyzed creature is incapacitated, meaning they cannot move or speak. The creature will automatically fail saves for strength and dexterity. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit. This particular gas, the paralysis effect only lasts one round. So because of that, there's no extra save to get out of it. It only lasts the one round. And with that in mind, it's your turn.
I can't do anything.
You are incapacitated, so you can't move or speak.
But you can shapeshift, no?
Incapacitated means you can't take actions or reactions, but I believe from our last campaign, I think shapeshift was fine.
Oh, shapeshift, yeah, because I think it's special.
Yeah, we'd have to double check.
Depends if
real
it still
quick.
takes an action to invoke the form.
If I shapeshift, though, am I still...
Actually, that's true. You do still have to burn an action to shapeshift, and incapacitated says you can't take actions.
Oh yeah, use your action.
Yeah. So it's your turn. I'm not sure what that gets you.
A lot of nothing. Because I couldn't even, prepare anything for my next turn, because I can't do anything.
Correct.
So, there's my turn, I guess.
Okay. So good news and bad news. The good news is the paralysis only lasts one turn. Your turn just ended, so you're no longer paralyzed. You recover yourself enough to kind of realize, as bad as this stinks and as much as it's making my eyes water and I feel like I'm gonna gag and you know, I got more important things to worry about. So you recover the use of your body. The bad news is that you hear all of the beds groan as things drop off of them. And in this now complete darkness, you feel several hands reaching out for you. And we'll see how that goes. What's your AC now?
17.
Okay. Okay. So, let's do a couple of these. Behave, mobs, Jesus. Okay. So, you're kind of sitting there in that darkness and you regain control of your senses. And as you start kind of looking around to see if you can find your way out of here, you feel whooshes of air as several strikes seem to completely whiff by you. Not sure if that means they can't see either or if it's just they didn't hit you. However, you feel 2 sets of clawed hands rip into your back. And you take 9 points of damage from that.
Okay.
And then I need a strength save, please.
Oh, dear.
Use an inspiration.
Okay. Kenna uses inspiration.
Worth it. 20.
Okay. So, you hear, "You're supposed to help," as something tries to collide into you. However, thanks to hearing them first, you manage to brace yourself just enough that the shove doesn't actually move you or throw you into the wall, but it does bump you back 5 feet further into the room.
Further.
Like here?
Yeah, putting you at the wall, but it didn't slam you into it or knock you prone or anything like that. It's still very dark, though you do feel now there's still circulation in the room, so it seems like the cloud will clear. It just hasn't cleared yet. And that is the end of their turn. You have full ability to move, you just can't see anything. You're
Still
completely
can't see?
blind.
Okay. First, bonus action, I'm going to scream for help at the top of my lungs.
Okay, that seems fair. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of where you are in relation to everything else. Down in the dungeon, Lazarus, I don't think you're going to be able to hear her, but there is a chance that other people might hear you.
Mm-hmm. And then second, I'm going to shapeshift into a giant bat.
Into a giant bat. Okay.
Because they have echolocation and blind sight.
Sounds good to me.
And then I'm
Piece of food.
going to piece the fuck out.
Okay, so you shift into the bat form.
I'm going to fly up as high as I can in the room, though, to
It's like 10 feet.
as high as I can, that still gives me an out.
Oh, the door doesn't go all the way to the ceiling.
Okay.
So you would have to be no more than 6 feet off the ground.
So maybe I'll fly up.
Fly on the ground, too.
I guess I could fly on the ground, too. But then I could take a step off.
Either way, even if you went all the way up, well, I guess I'll just say, so the creatures that have gone off, now that you have echolocation and blind sense, you have a better view of them.
Yeah.
All of them have that same shape as the one that I showed you, though they're all still bloated, whereas the one that attacked you from the bed has now thinned down due to releasing this cloud. The boy that was at the door, you see a slightly shorter version of these creatures that has moved more towards the middle of the room, giving the door a little bit more of an opening. However, they are considerably taller, so even the ceiling is within their reach. So flying by will still provoke opportunity, unless the bat has something specific for that.
No. Even if I fly to 10 feet.
Yeah, even if you fly at 10 feet, because the ones, as you go up, the two that are right next to you can...
How tall are
try
they?
to swing at you. They're about the same height as a normal person is, but their arms have grown longer due to the swelling of their body size.
So even flying.
Once you clear the two that you're right beside, you should be okay, but those two will definitely have a shot. Another alternative is because of the way that they're laid out in the room, you could try just flying straight, try to pick up as much momentum as you can, and even if they hit you, try to kind of tumble your way out of the room.
I mean, a bat. I don't know how dexterous I am. I'm fairly dexy.
And this mental image of Kenna bat just kind of like fluttering there for a moment, being like, "Now, what to do?"
Well, she couldn't get a gauge on the room before. So...
Exactly. Like you didn't know that it was going to be like this until you could actually see what was going on.
Yeah. I think.
Oh, sorry. I'll move these guys to.
When the first guy attacked me, did he seem to move fast or slow? From what I recall.
Trying to get a read on how dexy they might be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. It was fast because it surprised you, but looking back on it, it didn't seem especially quick.
Okay. Okay, then I think I'm gonna go Need for Speed.
Okay.
And just try to get out as fast as I can.
Okay, so flying straight out will give all 5 an opportunity attack.
No, I still think I'm gonna go, like, I guess this little part will be going up. Up and then dive bomb down.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, as long as you don't get hit in the up part.
Yeah.
If you don't get hit in the up part, you can sail over them to the door.
Yes.
But if they hit you in the up part, you're just going to go up and then back down.
For sure.
Okay.
Let's try.
Then we'll give it a shot.
Well, I mean, you still have 22 HP in this form, so
yeah.
It's not like you just drop form immediately.
Okay, first 2, because I have no idea what Giant Bat's AC is. First 2 is a 6 and a 14.
Second hits.
Okay. 1 hit.
AC's 13.
And a 16 and an 8, so 2 hits. Which will be 8 damage.
Okay.
So yeah, you fly up and you're just kind of like, I'm getting the bat out of here.
Yeah.
You fly straight up as much as you can, and both of them kind of swing up with both hands, but for each one of them, their first hit kind of misses, and their second one manages to just nick your wings and do a little bit of damage.
Yeah.
But it's not enough for you to break your form, and now that you're up, you've got... that would have only taken 5 feet of your movement, so however much you have left,
I have
you can try to
60
clear
feet
the
of
room.
flying.
Okay. Then yeah, you can absolutely try to clear as much of the room as you want.
So I'm going to zoom out.
Okay. When you get to the door, left or right?
Which way did I come down?
You came down, if you're coming out that way, right.
And because I've been in this dungeon before, is there only one in and out?
No, there's exits at both ends of the hallway.
Okay, and knowing where I am in the place, which exit was I closer to?
Do a history check.
As a bat?
Yeah. Or I think your
No,
mental
you
stats.
keep your mental
yeah, your
stats.
mental stats are fine.
Fuck me.
Okay.
8.
There's a lot going on, okay? You get up there and like you start flying and you get to the door, you're like left, right, left, and you hear the things behind you start moving towards you and you're like, and you don't remember which way would be faster.
If I quickly looked, do I see anything?
How far does your blind sense let you see in a bat?
60.
60, yeah.
Okay. 60 feet in both directions, just hallway.
Pick one.
We'll go right.
Okay, back the way you came.
Yeah.
Okay, so you take off down the right. It would have taken you, 5 up and then...
5 up, 5 down, so 10.
So you're approximately 30-odd feet down the right
'Kay.
as your turn ends. Okay, so Kenna turns into the bat, shoots up, gets nicked, flies across, stalls at the door for a second, and then takes the right path. We'll find out if that was the right call or not after we come back from the break.
Haha.
Wow, what a cliffhanger. I wonder what's going to happen next time. Seriously, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening in. If you liked what you heard, share us with your friends. If you hated what you heard, share us with your enemies. Seriously, though, like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll find out what happens to Double Doubles and Dragons next time.